Welcome back to Transformers Cyberverse Season 3. Today we're taking a look at Episode 18, Enemy Line. So, the battle over Cybertron and the Allspark is over. The Quintessons have been defeated, and the war between the Autobots and Decepticons is finished. Both sides occupying half the planet, each in a separate but peaceful coexistence, right? As we begin this episode, we find Lockdown and Clobber patrolling the wall that divides the Autobot side of the planet from the Decepticon side. Oh, Primus, why did it have to be a wall? I'm really trying not to make any political jokes here.
Hey, Clobber! How's Border Patrol?
Oh geez, they even call it Border Patrol. Okay, well, moving on. It took me a second to realize what was odd about this scene. It's the fact that Clobber and Lockdown are patrolling the border, and they're both Decepticons, right? Well, not anymore, as we take a closer look at Clobber, who now appears to be wearing a new Autobot badge instead of a Decepticon one. Aw, that's so cute. So I'm guessing Clobber switched sides after spending so much time with her new friend Hot Rod. And now she's become an Autobot. That's so sweet. Although I will point out that the first couple shots of her in this episode, she does still have her Decepticon badge on for some reason. I guess the animators goofed and forgot to use her updated Autobot model for this episode and nobody noticed that mess up. But still, it doesn't ruin how nice it is that her time working with the Autobots during the whole Quintesson invasion has made her a better girl. Again, probably in great part due to her friendship with Hot Rod. I hope we get to see the two of them together again in these remaining episodes. Continuing with the episode, Bumblebee drops by to show off his new flight mode and Super Saiyan power. So this is where Bumblebee got his new flying car mode from the trailer. So I guess that means that Optimus, Shadow Striker, and Soundwave must have got new alt modes too, right? Well, we do see Optimus's new truck mode briefly as he tows a statue of what is supposed to be Prima. He looks quite different than Prima appears in the Covenant of Primus, although apparently this Cyclonus looking guy from G1 was supposed to be Prima too, so clearly he can look very different based on the continuity. Actually, we've seen a similar statue of Prima before in Cyberverse in the Season 1 episode, Matrix of Leadership.
This was a statue of the great Prima, and that is where the Senate used to meet.
Also, apparently this statue was sculpted by Grapple. Of course, we don't actually get to see him in the show, again, probably not in the budget, which is too bad because he probably could have helped Optimus with the construction. Jetfire constantly interrupts Optimus, looking for direction on minor details. It's pretty annoying, and honestly I don't think it fits with Jetfire's character. Maybe he's just really trying to please Optimus. But I think it's more meant to show how Optimus isn't as adept at micromanaging when not in war times. Kind of like how in the episode Party Down, he had trouble giving a speech that wasn't about defeating the Decepticons. At one point, Jetfire mentions Novachronom, which, if you'll remember, was one of the places the Sharkticon bailiff mentioned when he was being interrogated by Soundwave. Apparently Croaton ended up taking a rest in the Decepticon half of Cybertron, and the Decepticons have made him their new capital city. And Bumblebee goes looking for Windblade there, who was inside Croaton when he retreated from battle in the previous episode. Shadow Striker found Windblade and took care of her and kept her hidden from the other Decepticons. Again, it's nice to see a softer side of her as well. It also kind of makes her feel like the Nebula to Windblade's Gamora. There's a lot of Cybertronian writing in Croaton City, more than I can translate. The door Bumblebee steps out of with Windblade says elevator above it. There's signs around that say stay asleep. I guess as a message to Croaton to stay asleep so the Decepticons can keep living in him. There's one that says Titan, and there's one that says Ultima, which I don't know what that's reference to. Maybe one of the animators is a big fan of their Nissan Ultima? There's also some backwards writing here where Bumblebee is attacked by the Insecticons, which reads Uno Sumus, which according to Google Translate means we are one. So it's probably a take on the old line, till all are one. There's also more backwards graffiti that says Free Man. Maybe a reference to how the Decepticons are free, or maybe someone at Boulder is a big fan of Half-Life. I could keep going, but I have a feeling we're going to be back in Croton City again, so better save some for later. We get to see Hot Rod in this episode, and he's back to his normal red color scheme. I guess he finally had time to get a car wash and clean off all that black Energon waste. Or maybe he just got a new paint job. We also see Bumblebee use some new blasters in his wrist, which kind of remind me of Prime Bumblebees. We briefly see Megatron in his new double cannon tank mode. Shadow Striker is also there, but unfortunately she's either shown behind him or she's covered up by that annoying graphic on the video. So we don't get a good look at her to see if she's got an upgraded alt mode too. Maybe we'll see it in a future episode. We also see that generic Seeker again who looks a lot like Nova Storm, but obviously it can't be her because she's dead. Seriously, why couldn't they use a different model? Although, when the camera switches, now she's Skywarp. So I'm guessing this is another animation error and this is actually supposed to be Skywarp. Megatron also uses his Decepticon attack Super Saiyan ability to charge up all the other Decepticons there. And Optimus does the same for his Autobots. So do they all have new powered up alt modes now? Or maybe it only happens when Optimus and Megatron use their matrices together. Skywarp is also back to being Nova Storm. And well, the Autobots get away with this one. They get Windblade back home, and thus begins the search for Windblade's spark shards. This was a pretty fun episode, despite the animation errors. I loved seeing the Autobots and Decepticons at somewhat of a peacetime. I don't think we ever really get to see that in any other Transformers series. Maybe a little bit at the beginning of Transformers Energon.
Aren't you supposed to be working, Demolisher?
You're not the boss of me, Hotshot!
Quit living in the past. We're not enemies anymore, or did you forget?
I like that their time working with the Autobots has softened some of the bad girls' hearts.
Thank you, Shadow Striker.
Now you have 2 astrocycles.
Hopefully by the end of the series, the Autobots and Decepticons can be one big happy Cybertronian family. But I guess we'll have to keep watching to find out if that happens. For now, don't forget to let me know what your thoughts of this episode are down in the comments. Remember to leave a like, subscribe, share, and all that other fun stuff. And I'll see you back here for episode 19, Thunder Howl. Gee, I wonder who might show up in that episode.